I did the Rockefeller Habits when Vern came to Australia more than 3 years ago. And since then he's come regularly, and as our team's grown, I've sent more people off to the event. I mean, we had all of this passion and this joy, but we needed to direct it. We needed to get the underpinning foundations of the business. Otherwise, it was going to continue to be chaos and we weren't going to be able to grow the way we needed to grow. We went structurally right from the very beginning of his program and literally implemented everything that he said. So starting off first of all with the purpose, our core purpose, identifying that. And all of this got documented in the one-page plan, and we still use the one-page plan as an overview of what it is that we are working on here. The core values have been absolutely integral to us. Like, I'd read books before about it, but I didn't really know how it applied and what difference it would make. So people often say to me, they say, oh, well, people could just copy your website, you know, aren't you worried about competition? Well, the point is they can't copy who you are, and who you are comes from your values. So what we did was we went back after Vern's session, literally, we're so excited, and we came back and we said, so who are we? Who are we as an organisation? And at that time I only had a team of 9, we've now got a team of 43, and we started telling stories. And storytelling is a great way of understanding what your business is and why it's like it is and who it is. And out of that came our 5 values. And our values, the first one is literally just do what you say you're going to do. Just know you can be counted on unbelievably. Secondly is leadership, and that we're all a team of leaders, and that each person here can make a decision, a choice, and know that they're absolutely supported in that. Thirdly is that we're generous. We're generous with our information, our knowledge, and we'll share everything. I mean, it's why I write a blog, naomisimson.com. Whenever I learn something, I publish it, and it's about just sharing information. It's why we wrote the Little Red Book. It's why I wrote the book. The fourth one is to have fun. If we're not having fun, how can our customers have fun? And fifth one is to be a little dog with a big dog attitude. And that is that we're courageous, we're risk takers, but we'll be nimble. And we'll have a big yap, but we'll call anybody and we will take a risk. Well, it's interesting because we have a big, hairy, audacious goal, and literally when we came up with it, it was based on our purpose, so it aligns very nicely to our core purpose. So our core purpose is to change gifting in Australia forever. So once we were really clear that we're changing gifting in Australia forever, we thought, well, how are we going to know if we've changed gifting in Australia forever? And so we had to put a number to it, which is where our big, hairy, audacious goal came from. So we thought, well, if 10% of Australians have had a red balloon day, they're going to know we've done something significant. It's enough people, so 2 million people will have had a red balloon day. Now, when we came up with that, we're sort of straight out of Vern's session. I think I'd sold 7,500 activities now. But if you look at our scoreboard, you'll see that we've just got past the 20% mark. We've just got over 400,000 of these activities. This is what drives my business. The core thing is about how many people did we give a good time to, and that's driving the BHAG. We actually don't have quarters. We have trimesters, which is another thing I learned from Vern when I went off to one of his sessions overseas, was because our business is very seasonal. We have a lot of sales at Christmas time. Nobody wants to do a plan in Australia in January. Let me tell you, nobody's interested. And being a fast-growing business, doing an annual plan is just way too long. But quarterly was also too short, so we actually run our business based on trimesters. And it's based on what is the pain in our business right now. Like, what's the number one pain? So the underlying theme this year is from success to significance. And so we launched this Black Diamond game. And when we launched, we used a Warren Miller movie called Cold Fusion. Warren Miller's fantastic, and we said, would you all like to go skiing? And we put the date in the diary the first week of August. But about 5 weeks before the end of trimester, I realised we just weren't going to make it, and it had nothing to do with people's intensity or how much they'd been putting into it. The fact of the matter is that many of our major corporate clients had pulled back on their programs. So I had to come in and say, well guys, you know, all these things we've done really, really well, but we're not going to make the game. And they were all going, oh, and I just said, well, but who still wants to go skiing? And they go, yeah. But what I did is I said, guys, it's not going to be quite how we thought, so we're all going to catch a bus there, for instance. Well, the bus ended up being a fabulous road trip and we all had a great time. It was very funny. We stayed at a fabulous place right on the snow, but they all shared rooms. We had 10 in a room, and it was like we were back at school. It was hilarious and really great fun. I think it's really important to celebrate what you do achieve. You know, we still got an amazing result. We still did 61% growth in our 7th year, you know, so we still did a pretty good thing, but just because we didn't quite get, you know, I think it's important to celebrate and have a backup strategy, as it were. It's really important that people know who we are. I run an online business. Most of my customers I never, ever even get to meet. I think we talk to less than 1% of the people who buy from us. So we've got to give them experience of who we are at Red Balloon. Who are we? So a brand promise. It was really great when Vern put this into context for us of what is a brand promise. And a brand promise has to be painful. So when we came back and we talked about it, you know, what would be really painful? Well, it would be really painful if we had to give away free experiences. That would be really painful. But also knowing that people have a choice. You know, they can Google jet boating and go direct, so why would they choose to buy a voucher from me? So I had to get to what is the core point, and the point is, and it was actually a friend of mine who said, you know, I love your website, I use it as a directory, then I just go and Google it directly. I was so upset. And the reality is we have to charge exactly the same as if you went direct to the supplier. And therefore you get all of this added value of someone there on the day. If they don't show up, you know, there's someone there. So you get all this wonderful purchasing ability, you get customer service, you get brand, you get excitement. But it really, when it comes down to it, they still want to know that they've got a fair deal. So our brand promise, we literally, you pay no more if you come to Red Balloon as if you went direct. And if you do, we will give you 100% of the experience back. 100%. And it is really, really painful. So that keeps our guys here really focused on our supplier relationships and making sure suppliers are keeping us up to date on how their prices are changing. And they change a lot with fuel prices and insurance. So you pay no more with Red Balloon than if you went direct. And we called it a pleasure guarantee, but it's actually a pricing guarantee. Daily huddles, no, we don't do those. Actually, it's just that people were really quite reluctant, because when you say get together in a huddle, people hear meeting. And meetings have a connotation of being a waste of time, too much effort, don't want to do it. But really a huddle is just a powwow. It's bringing people together for an energy boost, and that's what it's about. And sticking to an agenda, being prepared beforehand is critical. Don't arrive and say good news and stand there going, oh, I've got no idea, I haven't thought about it. If people are prepared, they really get it, and they really get it fast. So I found that, you know, the standing up really works, but I also find that our different teams huddle in different ways, and we have to be receptive to their personalities. So our development team, they huddle completely different way than our corporate team huddle. But we've got, you know, the very simple agenda, don't try and problem solve in a huddle. You'll lose it straight away. It's literally just, this is the information, that's great, take it offline. And that works for us. And it does have a certain energy level, and people look forward to the huddle.
Okay guys, so here we are for the morning huddle. Naomi, would you like to start?
Yeah, I've got great news. I heard from Telstra yesterday they're going to go with a pilot program, so I'm very excited about that. And they've given me the feedback on the program agreement, so that's come straight back through to you, Sarah.
Dave?
Yeah, yesterday had word back from Nestle, so basically they are going to go ahead with the program, which is fantastic news, so I've got to get off my program acceptance document to them today.
James?
Cool stuff. I got a brief yesterday from Macquarie University for a 1,000 people event, so working on that with Sarah today.
As you can see, I'm quite busy. Abbott is launching on Thursday, so that's all the deadlines are coming in nicely, and we have all the collateral to support it. So
That's great.
Well, my good news is I finished the little red book, and we should be able to get that off to print within the next 2 weeks, and it'll be delivered within 4 weeks. So it's great news.
Yeah. The one-page strategic plan has to be updated every trimester, and we even do the whole SWOT thing, and we re-look at it and we rehash, and we throw one out. We don't use it as a reference point because it comes from what we know now, the customer information, the competitor information. It comes from what we know now, so we start at that point. The first 3 columns you keep. It's the last 3 columns you keep revising and working on. being an entrepreneur is like being one of those clown punching bags. You know, you just punch them and then you have to get up again, punch them and get up again, punch them and get up again. And when I got to 5 years, I realised that once that we were really up to something here. But I didn't want to forget what it was like. Like, journalists would ask me and they'd say, oh, your overnight success story. And I'm going, oh, geez, there's been a lot of overnights. And I didn't want to forget that. And it's interesting, since I wrote the book, the number of people and the emails that I get from people who are starting their business and going, oh my God, you didn't have a customer for 2 months and 4 days. I still haven't got one and I'm 6 weeks in and I thought I was the only one like that. So I think being prepared to let people know it's not all easy. It is a tough ride. I haven't got an easy business. It's actually quite complex on how we run this business. To let people know that they're not alone, and they may as well learn from my very expensive lessons, because it cost me a lot. So that's why I wrote the book. And Vern said, be prepared to put yourself out there. Be prepared to build the brand. The other thing is, being an online business, we never get to meet so many of our customers. We want them to be able to trust us. The more they know about who we are, the more they are likely to trust us to buy online. So the fact that I've written a book, that I love to speak, that I'm wherever I possibly can be, it's about meeting the person behind the business so that they know who I am and they know they can count on us.